the male protagonist of this anime. Ikki lives in a magical world but possesses no magic power. Being taken as weak, he is often humiliated by his classmates. However, only a few people know that Ikki comes from a samurai family and possesses powerful swordsmanship. With his swordsmanship, none of the Blazers can be his opponents. Eventually, he saves the kidnapped princess and becomes the strongest Blazer, conquering those who humiliated him. The anime begins at Hagun Academy in Japan, a school renowned for its rigorous training of Blazers, who can transform souls into magic swords and are known as modern magicians. To become a Blazer, Princess Stella travels to Japan from Europe with excellent magical skills. She performs quite well in entrance test and her score even breaks the school records. On the contrary, the male protagonist, Ikki, doesn't have any magical talent despite his childhood dream of becoming a Blazer. Although he is very good at swordsmanship, because of his terrible performance in magic, he is known as the worst one among his classmates. After school starts, Ikki meets Stella in the dormitory. Ikki stares at her for a long time since she looks hot. Ikki also shows off his abs in order to show his charm, but he never expects this sexy beauty to be a princess from Europe. Stella complains to the chairman about Ikki's rude behavior. The chairman thinks that Ikki has done something inappropriate and that he must ask for her forgiveness. Ikki apologizes to Stella and is willing to accept all of her punishments. But Stella doesn't want to forgive Ikki. When she tries to attack Ikki, Ikki speaks his heart. He says that he can't help but get stunned because of her beauty. Stella doesn't expect to get Ikki's compliment and feels very shy. At this time, the chairman realizes that she has overlooked an important matter. She tells Ikki and Stella that they are roommates starting today. Ikki is the weakest student in the school and Stella is the strongest. The chairman thinks they are a good match. Stella is very upset with Ikki, and she proposes strict rules for cohabitation. Ikki is not allowed to talk to her, is prohibited from opening his eyes, and is banned to breathe, because Ikki refuses to agree to the rules. The chairman suggests that they hold a contest where the winner can make rules for cohabitation. Stella is willing to compete with Ikki, indicating that the loser obeys all the demands of the winner until they die. Ikki agrees to Stella's request. Stella was born in a small country in Europe, but the country is not powerful enough, and people there are in need of strong Blazers desperately. Stella is well aware of the responsibilities that a princess has to bear, and she aspires to be the strongest Blazer from an early age. Stella has a strong desire to win, and she vows to defeat Ikki. After an hour, the contest officially starts. Ikki's swordsmanship is all taught by himself. He excels in imitating his opponent's techniques and surpassing them. Upon careful observation, he finds Stella's soft spot. To his surprise, Stella is very righteous. Recognizing Ikki's weakness in magic, she chooses not to use magic during the match, intending to defeat him solely with her swordsmanship. With great respect for Stella, Ikki tries his best to perform his decisive blow. In the end, Stella is hurt by his power and loses consciousness, while Ikki also faints from extreme exhaustion. Stella is less injured, so she quickly wakes up. She doesn't understand why Ikki, with such strength, has to be a repeater. The chairman tells Stella that Blazer's evaluation system does not include swordsmanship. Ikki's magic power is too weak, which is an unfavorable fact in the evaluation system. Stella has strong magic abilities, but her swordsmanship is far from comparable to Ikki's. In the coming days, she and Ikki can learn from each other. Ikki is sleeping when Stella returns to the dormitory. This is Stella's first contact with a boy, and she becomes curious about Ikki's body, because Ikki has seen Stella's underwear. She thinks it is fair for her to touch Ikki. While they make physical contact, Stella feels a powerful force. Just then, Ikki feels her touch and wakes up. Startled, Stella accidentally hits her forehead against the bedboard. As a gentleman, Ikki offers to dress her wound. Feeling guilty about her arrogance, Stella hurriedly apologizes to him. Though Ikki wins the competition, he doesn't make excessive demands on Stella. As they become roommates, he simply asks to know more about Stella. Hearing this, Stella is blushed. From then on, their cohabitation life starts. Ikki runs 20 kilometers every day. Not to be outdone, Stella insists on exercising with him. After the start of the new semester, the chairman holds a selection competition for Blazers. The top 6 students will be represented in this year's national competition. According to the rules of the competition, each student plays at least 10 rounds. After school, Ikki is stopped by a girl named Kagami, who is a member of the news club. Ikki is unexpectedly popular with the girls, so Stella is a little upset and decides to leave first. Just as Ikki is trying to catch up with Stella, his sister Shizuku shows up, who hasn't seen Ikki for 4 years. She misses Ikki and kisses him on the lips as soon as she sees him. Stella thinks that Shizuku's action is too much for the siblings and hastily pulls Shizuku away. Shizuku feels that Stella has no right to interfere with them and is very upset with her. Stella has to overstate the relationship between her and Ikki. She claims that she is Ikki's servant and that they have been living together intimately for 72 hours. Shizuku cannot stand Ikki and Stella being together and initiates an attack on Stella. The school forbids fighting in non-combat areas, so they are punished by the headmistress. After the punishment, Shizuku is still reluctant to reconcile with Stella. She claims that Ikki is a very special person in their family, and Stella will never understand the bond between them. Curious about Ikki's family, Stella asks him about it. Ikki reveals that he was born into a family of samurai, and his great-grandfather was a renowned general who led Japan to victory in the Great War. Due to his lack of magical talents, Ikki is treated as non-existent in the family and isn't even allowed to participate in family gatherings. The weather was unusually bad on the day Ikki ran away from home. When Ikki lost confidence in life, he dreamed of his great-grandfather. Great-grandfather hoped Ikki to pull himself together. He believed that human beings are capable of anything if they never give up. Ikki aspires to be like his great-grandfather. No matter how difficult the situation is, he never gives up. With Ikki's hard work, he enrolled in the magic school. However, Ikki's family did not support him. To prevent Ikki from affecting the family's reputation, they negotiated with the former chairman of the board, who required Ikki to reach their standard ability level before he could attend classes regularly. Thankfully, the current chairman of the board takes over and makes changes to the school system, which betters Ikki's situation. Stella doesn't realize that Ikki is as much of a fighter as she is. After this conversation, she grows to like Ikki. Meanwhile, Shizuku tells her roommate Alice about their family. Shizuku adores Ikki so much that she wants to fill his void with her love since Ikki doesn't get any from his family. Alice is transgender. She is able to understand Shizuku's thoughts and is willing to listen to all her troubles. Meanwhile, Ikki returns to the dormitory and decides to take a bath. Coincidentally, Stella enters the bathroom to assist him in cleaning up. As Ikki's servant, she sees it as her responsibility. Seeing her private parts, Ikki becomes excited. Believing that Ikki is showing interest in her private part, Stella deliberately makes physical contact with him. Just then, her underwear accidentally falls to the floor, making her feel very shy. Afterward, Stella and Ikki practice swordsmanship together every day. Stella has a crush on Ikki, so when the weekend is approaching, she decides to ask Ikki to go on a date, but her plan is ruined by Shizuku, who asks Ikki to go to the mall together, and Ikki agrees. Stella is very wary of Shizuku. She follows Ikki to the mall. Surprisingly, Shizuku doesn't come alone. She also brings Alice with her. Alice is a teenage girl deep inside, and she becomes interested in Ikki. Enraged by Alice's action, Shizuku draws her weapon. Alice hastily explains that she was joking. After getting to know each other, Shizuku holds Ikki's hand. Stella is very envious of the act of holding Ikki's hand since she can't do it for not being Ikki's girlfriend. Later, Ikki and Alice encounter a criminal gang in the restroom. Alice is very good at magic. She can manipulate shadows and move in shadows. They use magic to enter the guard room, only to find that the security guards here have passed out. Ikki reports to the director about fighting outside the school. The director solicits a rescue application to the police and tells them to not get hurt. Meanwhile, Stella finds that the criminal leader is going to carry out femicide. Irritated by this cruel act, she attacks him with magic. The leader is wearing 2 rings. One is designed to absorb Stella's damage while the other bounces it back to her. In the end, Stella is captured by the leader. The leader is surprised to see Stella standing up for a civilian. He promises to release the woman if Stella complies with his demand to undress and kneel before him in apology. Stella decides to sacrifice for the sake of the women. Ikki is furious at the criminal leader. He tries to protect Stella but is stopped by Alice, who trusts Shizuku's magic prowess so much that she knows this is not a good time to fight, and tells Ikki to wait a little longer. After that, Shizuku uses magic to protect the crowd. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Ikki attacks the criminal leader. Ikki is speedy with his sword and hits the leader with it before the leader can react. While they fight, Stella and Alice eliminate the other criminals, but none of them expects that a female criminal is hiding among the crowd. She seizes a hostage and demands that they let the leader go. Ikki's classmate, Shizuya, hides in the shadows and helps them to take down the female criminal. The fact that Shizuya looks down on Ikki dissatisfies Stella very much. Shizuya thinks that Ikki is a very weak person. Fearing his strength, Ikki once chose to run away during their fight. He reminds Ikki that they will confront each other in this year's competition and hopes that he will not run away again. Alice is curious about Ikki's escape during the fight. Under her inquiry, Ikki reveals the truth. At that time, the former director kept causing trouble to Ikki and wanted him to get expelled. Shizuya was asked by the former director to propose a duel with him, but Ikki never retaliated against Shizuya's attacks, as engaging in combat outside designated areas was strictly prohibited by the school rules, believing that Ikki has been oppressed. As a friend, Alice holds the hope that someone will help heal Ikki's traumas. A few days later, it's time for Ikki's fight against Shizuya. For Ikki, this is his chance to prove himself, and he cannot afford to lose to Shizuya. Shizuya is very good at using invisibility. Although Ikki has watched videos of Shizuya's previous matches, Shizuya's strength has improved so much that even his weapons can achieve the effect of stealth. Ikki is so nervous that he cannot see through Shizuya's weakness. Shizuya deliberately reveals Ikki's graduation condition in the arena. Ikki had a deal with the current chairman that if he couldn't win the selection contest, he wouldn't be able to graduate. Shizuya thinks that it's impossible for Ikki to defeat him and mocks Ikki as the worst one. Stella sees Ikki knocked to the ground and wonders why he has become such a coward. She stops the others from laughing at Ikki and encourages him to buck up. Stella likes Ikki a lot and wants him to stay badass for good. Ikki hears Stella's voice and snaps out of his disheveled state. Based on the spot of his injuries, the depth of his wounds, and Shizuya's roar, he finds Shizuya. He then uses the death blow and hits Shizuya hard. The first thing Ikki does after winning is confess his love to Stella. Stella kisses Ikki to firm up that they become a couple and agree to be student representatives together. Later on, Ikki secures an impressive 5-match winning streak, shedding the label of the worst one and garnering admiration from many people. Kagami admires him so much that she asks him to assist girls in sword fighting. Ikki grants her request, remembering Stella's past encounter with the criminal group. If he can help the female classmates enhance their offensive capabilities, they can protect themselves in such cases. While Ikki is giving sword instruction, several male students attack him. They are very jealous because of Ikki's popularity. Ikki is very observant of the school rules. He knocks them down without using weapons. The male students are conquered by Ikki's strength. They get down on their knees and apologize to Ikki, asking him if he can tutor them in sword fighting. Ikki treats everyone fairly and does his best to help them. One of the training sites for the swordsmanship class is the swimming pool. Ikki thinks Stella is very good at swordsmanship and wants her to assist him to instruct. Stella agrees with him. To make their relationship more intimate, she even prepares a sexy swimsuit. But Ikki is too busy coaching his students to spend time with her. But what she doesn't know is that Ikki really likes her swimsuit look. Since they haven't had physical contact for a while, Ikki doesn't feel like they're a couple and wants to talk to Stella about their relationship. Stella misunderstands that Ikki wants to break up with her and gets upset. Ikki hastily apologizes to Stella. He likes Stella a lot and he doesn't want to leave a bad impression on her, so he has been afraid to take the initiative to get close to her. After clearing the air, Ikki and Stella become closer. Soon after, their 6th match commences. With a 6-match winning streak, Ikki and Stella become popular among the students. Iase, a female student, greatly admires Ikki's swordsmanship and has been observing him from a distance. Noticing her, Alice proposes that Ikki has a conversation with her. When Ikki calls out to Iase, she is startled and accidentally falls into the pool. After assisting her to the infirmary, they learn that she is the descendant of the strongest swordsman. Ikki holds a deep respect for Iase's father and is keen on knowing his current situation. Iase tells Ikki that her father was injured in a duel and is recovering in the hospital. And the reason why she follows Ikki is that she encounters a bottleneck when practicing swordsmanship and wants to learn from Ikki. She doesn't know how to talk to Ikki since she hasn't been in contact with a boy, so she chooses to stalk him. Ikki is very nice and offers to invite her to practice swordsmanship together. After that, they have a simple competition. Ikki discovers that Iase has been imitating her father. If she wants to improve her swordsmanship, she must change her gesture. During the adjustment, Ikki touches Iase's body, making Iase very shy. With his help, Iase finally finds a way forward. Stella is very upset because of the physical contact between Ikki and Iase. Ikki holds Stella's hand and tells her that she is the only one for him. It is worth mentioning that Ikki's opponent in the next match is Iase. Alice sees Iase's desire to win. Iase's strength is not as good as Ikki's, so she fears that Iase will resort to despicable means. Ikki does receive a meeting request from Iase, but he believes that Iase has no malicious intent and decides to meet her. Upon their encounter, Iase reveals her true intentions. She is determined to defeat Ikki by any means. Knowing that Ikki's death blow can only be used once a day, Iase purposely puts her life on the line, compelling Ikki to use the death blow to save her. As expected, to save her, Ikki uses his death blow. Taken aback by Iase's dirty trick, Ikki is brokenhearted. Eventually, he faints from extreme exhaustion. Then Ikki wakes up and meets the chairman who has come to visit him. The chairman tells him that Ai's father lost a duel to a student named Kurado, betting on all his land and real estate. He has been in a coma since the defeat and has not yet woken up. Ai's wants to avenge her father. However, Kurado thinks she's too weak and doesn't bother to fight her. Ai's wants to win the tryouts and duel him in the national competition since Kurado was one of the top 8s last year. Ikki can feel Ai's desire to win. He guesses that Ai's will break the rules during the game and explains it to the teacher in advance. Deep down, Ikki still believes that Ai's is a person who values self-respect and glory. Even if she has done something bad, he doesn't want to debunk her. After the game starts, Ikki's speculation is confirmed. Ai sets a trap in the arena ahead of time, causing Ikki to be injured. But Ikki is very strong, and he defeats Ai's with superb swordsmanship. After the match, Ikki offers to avenge Ai's. Ai's is touched by Ikki and decides to accept his help. Ai's tells Ikki that Kurado is all about violence and is a very evil person. His greatest joy every day is to duel with people. 2 years ago, Kurado badly injured her father. Ai's blames herself, thinking that her father wouldn't be in danger if she had dueled Kurado in replace of her father. Seeking revenge for Ai's, Ikki challenges Kurado to a duel. Impressed by Ikki's powerful swordsmanship, Kurado accepts his challenge. As the duel starts, Ikki soon finds Kurado's advantage, which lies in his lightning-fast reflexes. Kurado prides himself on his exceptional reflex speed, and it remains impeccable. However, although he excels in close combat, he quickly runs out of his stamina as well. Enjoying facing formidable opponents, Ikki always has a smile on his face during the duel. Stella believes Ai's doesn't understand her father. Her father, like Ikki, is a man born to fight. As a swordsman, it is a blessing to die in the arena. If he can't understand the fun of deathmatch, he does not deserve to be called the strongest swordsman. Ai's finally realizes what a real swordsman is. She sheds tears, considering herself a disqualified swordswoman. Meanwhile, Ikki uses Ai's father's swordsmanship to defeat Kurado. He thinks Ai's knows her father well. If it wasn't for her, he wouldn't have been able to imitate her father. Soon after, Ikki is overjoyed to learn that Ai's father has woken up from a coma. In the following tryouts, Ikki and Stella win 5 races in a row. In order to better train them, the chairman arranges a training camp activity for them. Before the training camp officially starts, they also clean the hotel with the members of the student council. Ikki wants to climb the mountains and enjoy the scenery there with Stella. Regrettably, Stella suddenly gets sick. To take care of her, Ikki guides her to a nearby wooden house. Since Stella has breathing difficulties, Ikki removes her underwear. During this moment, Stella notices his physiological response and offers to have an intimate relationship with him. However, cherishing Stella so much, Ikki chooses not to rush into such an intimate relationship. At this time, they are suddenly attacked by an unknown object. Before Stella is jeopardized, members of the student council rush to help. Toka, the president of the student council, is very strong. With her help, Ikki and Stella survive the crisis. But what Ikki doesn't know is that he was attacked because of his father. Ikki admires Toka very much, but he never expects that Toka's opponent in the next match will be Shizuku. Ikki is concerned about Shizuku's situation, and he comes to the game with Stella. Shizuku excels at long-distance magic warfare. She uses magic and fights Toka fiercely. Because Shizuku can't tell Toka's tactics, she is at a strategic disadvantage. Even in adversity, Shizuku is reluctant to give up. Her dream is to participate in national competitions with her companions, and she can't fall here. Shizuku struggles to find Toka's flaws, but she is not strong enough to defeat Toka. Eventually, Shizuku loses her qualification to participate in the national competition. The tryouts continue. Ikki and Stella have won 14 straight with their outstanding strength. While they are dating, the reporter captures them kissing. Soon, the press reveals their relationship. What's worse, the news takes a negative turn, depicting Ikki as a problem student and doubting the sincerity of their relationship. Using the news, Ikki's father locks him in the interrogation room. Feeling self-condemned, Stella hesitates to end her relationship with Ikki. Shizuku stops her, emphasizing how much Ikki values his relationship with Stella. She warns that if Stella betrays Ikki, she will never forgive her. Realizing Ikki is protecting her, Stella patiently waits for Ikki's return while diligently preparing for the upcoming tryouts in the following days. Meanwhile, Ikki negotiates with his father. He always thought that the reason why his father hates him is that he is weak, but what he doesn't expect is that his father just doesn't believe he can become the strongest blazer at all. In his father's view, since there's no chance for his son to be the strongest, Ikki doesn't need to make any effort. This hits Ikki hard and he loses direction in life. Toward the end of the tryouts, Icky is allowed to participate in this competition. If he can win, the league won't hold Icky accountable. Icky tries his best to make it to the arena. He sees a lot of classmates who support him, as well as Stella, who has been waiting for him. Stella keeps her promise and wins the last match. The moment Icky sees Stella, he gets out of his confused state. For his commitment to Stella, he must win the tryouts. Icky's last opponent is Toka. He uses his death blow at the beginning of the game. He concentrates all his strength on his sword. At that moment, Icky exceeds his physical limits. Eventually, he defeats Toka for the ultimate victory. Stella wraps her arms around Icky in a tight embrace. Feeling her warmth, Icky is very happy. Overwhelmed by the desire to be with Stella forever, Icky proposes to her. In the end, Icky becomes the student representative, leading the other 5 members in intensive training for the upcoming national competition. Amid the resounding cheers from his classmates, Icky experiences the happiness of being acknowledged and determines to give his all to secure victory in the national competition. Here comes the end of this anime. Icky's charisma and chivalry are very impressive. Born in a prominent family but having no magical talents and artifacts, he is taken as a non-existent and suffers a lot. Even so, he never abandons his sword. Although this thorny path leaves him scarred, he will insist on his chivalry until the last minute. Thanks for your watching. Don't forget to like this video to help my channel out. Also, remember to subscribe to my channel. Your support is what motivates me to keep updating my videos. Bye!